Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Emman, your host for the next few hours, along with Spence.
Hello there.
Hello. And Nick is here. Our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And this morning's show is being brought to you by Adamus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals, and the broadcast is made possible by Telestream Wirecast software. And we're here finally.
We're here because we're here.
Yeah, because we're here. At 10 o'clock, if everything works okay, we're going to have a guest, Andrew Torba, who's the founder of gab.ai. That's the new Twitter that's growing now. If you guys don't have logins to it, just go to gab.ai and put your email address. You'll get an invitation. So he's going to tell us all about gab.ai. So what's happening, Spence?
What's happening?
What is happening this week?
Oh, well, pretty quiet week technology-wise.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of slow.
Although I'm working on an individual Mac problem. But I think the solution...
Macs don't have problems.
No, it's not really a Mac problem. It's a age of machine problem where changes need to be made. It just hasn't been ran out of space, stopped doing updates because of that. We ran out of space. Issues with the original Apple ID that was assigned to the machine is coming back to haunt the user, and just a few things like that. It's not a machine thing. It's all other factors. But what I'm going to try is, and what I was told to try was that Macs have NetBoot built in, that if you do put a new hard drive in and it's scrubbed, there's no partitions on it, it will automatically seek out a server with the image that the image of the version of OS that we're using or you're registered to use, and we'll load it for you. So it could do a clean install over the network, over the internet, which I'm going to try. But I'm going to back up, take the drive out, have a new drive, and do this from scratch and see if that doesn't help in this case. It'll be fun. It'll be probably the deepest I get into working on a Mac in a while. I used to do this a lot more, but my personal Mac, my MacBook Unibody, the first generation of Unibody Macs before they started calling it MacBook Pro, is a late 2008, I think. So it's been around a while.
Yeah.
And it gets slow at times, but I've kept up with the OSs and I've expanded the hard drive and memory, and it's still very usable. I run into issues every so often, but.
All right. So do you want to make money?
Sure. I would prefer that you just send it to me.
And if you don't have a job? Microsoft has a new browser. It launched with Windows 10 and it's called Edge. The company says it's faster, more battery efficient, and all around better than Chrome or Firefox. You can even draw on website with a stylus. Trouble is, not very many people are using it. So now Microsoft is trying to bribe you to switch. The newly branded Microsoft Rewards, formerly Bing Rewards, which paid people for using Bing as their search engine, another product Microsoft says is better than Google product. That very few people actually use. I mean, they have those products that people don't use, so they try to pay money to use it. Will now pay you for using Edge, shopping at the Microsoft Store, or using Bing. Users of Edge who sign up to Microsoft Rewards, which is currently US only, are then rewarded points simply for using the browser. Microsoft is actively monitoring whether you're using Edge for up to 30 hours a month. It tracks mouse movements and other signs that you're not trying to game the system. And you must have Bing set as your default search engine. Points can then be traded in for voucher or credit for places such as Starbucks. Listen to this: Starbucks, Skype, Amazon, and ad-free Outlook.com. And remember, if you're not paying for something, you are the product. And that's what they're doing. They're using you as a product, but giving you something. Yeah, I mean, it's not costing them anything. It's interesting how. Who comes up with these ideas? Let's pay people to use it. And they will know everything that they're doing. It's
Well, isn't that the not only is that the commercial almost a requirement these days, but it's information about you. Information is power. The more they know about you, the more they can manipulate you. Then
right.
look at trends, design information to meet or to influence what you think and what you believe. And I'm not trying to get all conspiracy theory here, but that's what it's always been from the beginning of time, is tell people what you want to tell them to influence what they do.
Right. Hold on a second. Let me fix the picture.
It's just that we understand it a lot better now. Where would we be in today's world if we did not have information? Now we have a lot of bad information, but we also have access to a lot of good information. And if you're a conscientious person who can research and not just believe what you read immediately, go ahead and give it the sniff test, right, to find out if what you're reading is true. That's always a good thing. Don't just, I mean, as people, I read it on the internet, it must be true. And you think, that's silly. Nobody believes that. Well, it used to be the same with television. If I saw it on television, I knew it was true. I read it in the paper, it must be true. Same rules still apply. Verify.
Yeah.
And form your own opinion. But there's too many people out there that, what? Just, I read this morning that this was happening. It was, well, show me a collaborating source. Show me the source of that information. Show me the statistics and where they come from, and show me an opposing view too, so we can compare them. And that just doesn't happen.
Spence, about 2 weeks ago, you sent me an email.
I did?
About Robocall.
Oh, yeah.
Fighting.
About them, something finally happening, but
do you have anything you want to talk about it?
Well, yeah. Let me go back and I sent it from. Gotta make sure I have the right email address. Let me go back and find it.
It's interesting that it's coming now before the elections too.
Well,
I mean, nothing is going to happen.
It's actually been out there for a while. It's just that it's somebody must have brought it up and resurrected it. But the point of what happened here is, and I think I need to, I forwarded it from. Here's where I run into trouble when I send those type of emails. Is
All right,
that
so I have.
I forwarded from Flipboard, which means I don't know if I actually have a record of
All right,
sending it to you.
if so, you want to talk about it, or you want me to read the article from
Oh no,
Slashdot?
if you have it, sure. You go ahead and we can comment on it.
So
That'd be
it
great.
goes AT&T, Alphabet, Apple, Verizon Communications, and Comcast are among the members of the Robocalls strike force, which will work with the U.S. Federal Communication Commission. The strike force will report to the Commission by October 19th on concrete plans to accelerate the development and adoption of new tools and solutions, said AT&T Chief Randall Stevenson, who is chairing the group. The group hopes to put in place caller ID verification standards that would help block calls from spoofed phone numbers and to consider a do not originate list that would block spoofers from impersonating specific phone numbers from government, banks, or others. So they're trying. I mean, if you have a phone now on cell phone, I don't get robocalls on my cell phone. I don't know why, but I do get them on my business line and or our home line, and it's ridiculous. Those some of them are. You look at the caller ID and wow, yeah, I need to answer this, and it's bad. And you go and you add it to the block list, but you're not doing much because they will never use that number again. So this is what this strike force is trying to do, right, Spence? We can't hear you. What'd you do? Did you turn
I
something?
muted because
There
I
you
was
go.
eating
Yeah,
yogurt.
it's okay.
But here's the issue I see that could be very difficult to get around is the spoofing. What technology can you put in place to prevent spoofing? So if you're not familiar with spoofing, spoofing is a term that's been around for a long time, but can be applied to many different situations. It is being an imposter, pretending to be something you're not. In the case of networking, spoofing used to be where you could take a MAC address, which is the physical address, network address that's burned into a network adapter, or a IP address, which is your internet protocol address, and basically pretending to be that address or that MAC. And the same thing is happening now with phone numbers, where you can get a call and it looks like, oh, this is coming from the same area code as me, and
Right.
it's an exchange from a local cell phone. So I need to answer this call. It could be important. So you pick it up and you find out it's some telemarketer from Malaysia trying to sell you or tell you that the IRS is trying to get to you or whatever. But the point is that caller ID is very easily manipulated. That's why you see unavailable or you see the number will be all X's or something. They can make it whatever they want it to be. So if your phone is using phone numbers to block calls, then it's useless. It doesn't work anymore. And if you block a number that turns out to be somebody's real number and that real person tries to call
Right.
you, it's blocked. So what do you do? It needs to be another. There you go, Rover 00000000. Um, it'll just. I got a call the other day from what was a local North Carolina cell phone number, and it was a solicitor. I called that number back and I got the owner of that phone number, who was a woman who lived nearby. I said, do you know that your number is being used to make solicitor calls? She was shocked.
She wouldn't know.
No, she wouldn't know. But I said, I'm just calling to let you know. So she called Verizon. I called Verizon. And the guy basically said, well, the only thing you can do is change your number. I said, well, that's not going to help. What answer is that?
Yeah.
That's not going to stop incoming problems. So it was just stupid.
They don't know
But
what to do. I mean, you can't expect
well,
them. What did you expect them to say? There's nothing they can do.
caller ID has been around for a long time. It's a mature technology. There'll have to be some new add-on in the they call it System 7 switching. It's the way calls are switched throughout the public telephony networks. If they can come up with a way to add on to it, if they switch, if there's something they can put in when it's if it's put into a packet form, maybe there's something they can do. Uh, but what's next? Encrypting calls? I mean, this is going to be, where you have a certificate at both ends, so you won't accept a call unless the person has the right certificate. I mean, why should we have to do this?
It
And
is
then
it is so nice to be in a situation where you can block everybody and just allow certain people from coming
right,
in. I mean, this is in many it's very annoying when you call somebody and say, state your name. I mean, it's a mechanism that's in front of the phone. State your name to talk with whoever, and you have
right.
to say Amnon Nissan, and then it starts ringing. I mean, it's annoying, but you understand. I mean, I understand why. Uh,
That's actually a pretty reasonable solution considering what we're facing. So
yeah.
because if it's a robocall, um,
Now there are some tricks. There are tricks that you can implement. One of them is if you have an answering machine, make it pick up after 6 rings.
that's what I do with mine, and
Yeah,
that stopped a lot of the calls.
right. Um,
I got two
thankful,
calls on my cell phone on Friday from the same area code on Long Island. That was it. It just waited till I forget how many rings my cell phone is set for, probably four, but it left the message at the end of the when it went to my voicemail, but it was already 2/3 of the way through their message.
yeah,
So it said that number to call us back is, and they don't tell you why they're calling. So they don't even realize that what they're doing is useless anyway.
right.
So
Yeah, that's the thing is that it's automated and it's not smartly automated on their end. But let me tell you what cut down on business and home getting this sort of calls when I added the no more robo
yeah, my
to the service.
provider, my uh, SIP provider doesn't support it yet, unfortunately. Unless I purchase, I get the free option um, from mine, and in order for me to get No More Robo to work, I have to actually pay for the platinum service. So,
Um,
but that will not work in all cases
that's right,
because
but it cuts.
if they're spoofing a known good
No,
number
right,
or an unknown number, then they're going to get
right,
through.
yeah. But that cut down, I would say 95% of the calls. I mean, before No More Robo, I was getting a whole bunch of calls.
Well,
And
for me, the just changing to the 8 rings on my answering
yeah,
machine made a huge difference because they're programmed to give up usually after 6 rings, which is
the
great.
the bad thing with No More Robo is the way it works. Your phone will ring one time, and that's it. So they have to ring to allow it through for one ring to sense the number or to detect the number. So sometimes you sit there and the phone ring and you look, okay, is it going to continue or not? And after a while you get used to it. So no, I'm not going to answer right away. I'm going to wait. And I found out by playing with it that if it rings and right away you pick up, the No More Robo doesn't come into play at all. I mean, you can actually talk to the person. It's really strange the way it works, but if it works, that it doesn't cost anything, and it's sort of like the do not call list. That does It's not 100%.
Well, the do not call list was never 100%,
Yeah, so
but
it's fine. Yes, and that's what you do. I mean, like with VoIP and with Uma, and I can't remember who else. You can actually go there and say, "What do you want to answer to these people?" And you put this number has been disconnected, and I don't know that they care much about it, but
No,
it's
because what they're doing in these giant robocall centers that are making these calls, they're just stepping through all
right.
numbers,
Yeah,
and they're hoping to get a response, hoping to get a pickup, but they don't even connect it to a messaging center or to an agent until they know they have somebody on the line. That's why you get that annoying pause when you pick up the call. You're like, hello, hello, there's nobody there, and you hear a click and you hear somebody come on. That's a call center. That's because they don't
yeah,
send it to an agent until they've got a live body on the
yeah.
line.
I
And they
got
have to,
I got used to if you answer the phone and you say, I said Delta Force, and there's nothing, and I said hello, and there's nothing. Hang up. Don't wait for them to pick up. And
what I
sometimes,
do
so,
what I do now to be annoying,
yeah,
if I'm in a mood where I'm willing to accept or talk to a person, I'll pick it up and I'll take my finger and I'll just tap the microphone on the handset, just like tap 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 tap, just go like that. You hear somebody in the background, hello, 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 and there's nothing there, just but there's clicking, and I just they're gonna waste my time. I'm gonna waste their time.
yeah. I mean, if I have time, I would just keep on saying hello, hello, and it works. It probably annoys them. Uh, the thing though is many of these are made by people who are trying to make a living, and you can't help but feel from them. I mean, it's somebody who finally got a job somewhere to sit there and do this. But too bad, you feel like that. But of course, they
Hey,
it doesn't go into making decision to answer or not.
the car thief is just trying to make a living too.
Well, yeah, true.
I'd like to answer the phone to say, Absaroka County Sheriff's Office. How can I direct your call?
All right, so Dr. John is saying that many systems delete your number if they detect the disconnect tones. So that's good then.
And you can actually set up if you have uh, the right kind of device, like a little digital media player that's got a speaker built in. You can have the disconnect tone. You can get it. You go online, you can get the disconnect tone, the doo doo doo
Yep.
noise, right? You could just record it, and when those people call, you just keep playing it over the phone. And
Mhm.
there are ways to send it automatically. I don't have a way to do that, but
I can't remember
uh,
which service it was. It may be Phone Power or some of the others VoIP systems that we had. You could have made it answer with that tone first, and then it
yes,
will ring. It's
yep.
not. It was like it will go doo doo doo, ring,
Yeah.
so it would signal that, and then yeah.
But
So
not good for people legitimately trying to call you for the first time and
correct.
don't know
Yeah, it's annoying.
that's going to
Right.
happen.
Well, what? Your phone has been disconnected. No, it
Yeah,
hasn't. Well, I heard it. No, this is. So yeah,
yeah.
I never used it, especially for business. You can't afford to use it.
There is a solution to all of this. All
Okay.
of the technology things that get us move to a place where there is no service.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. You can just disconnect your phone at home. You don't need to move.
Oh no, you still people are going to still ring your doorbell.
Take
they're
it
still going
out.
to annoy you on the street. I'm talking about moving to. There are places off the highway in Alaska that have no service. You can drive there,
Yeah.
which it's kind of a requirement if you want to survive, right? Pretty much. But you can live in a remote area,
It,
still get power, but have no communication service.
Spence, since I don't see the thumbnails at the bottom, is Nick with us?
He's not there.
Okay. All right. He'll
He
he'll
must have
fix it.
rebooted, or
Yeah,
he's
he'll
had to
he'll
get the
fix it.
fire extinguisher.
um, talking about all this and seeing Dr. John. How about updating us on what happened to you with the hard drive and tell me what happened with the board? Did you manage anything? Um, I don't know if you want to. Why don't you call in and tell us? It'll be interesting because a lot of people get into this mess. Oh shoot! It did not help. Oh well. His hard drive was not did not was not being detected anymore, and
maybe it didn't want to be detected.
yeah, and he brought it over, and there was nothing that I could have done, that I could do, and what I did in the past was get a good board because it was spinning, so you know that's the board. Is get it same drive and change the board, and it would work. So
I'm still in the process of fine tuning my new build of my FX machine. The case that I'm using is an older case, but it was the only one I had that would fit a full size ATX board, which is what I got, the Asus system board I have. But,
yeah,
but I'm going to be getting a new case. But I did buy a fan. I have not installed it yet. And this would be what I would consider to be a medium quality fan. This is an amazing fan, though. I have just enough room to fit this thing in there. It's got 4 heat pipes on it. It's kind of a mid-grade, I would say, from a gaming perspective, but it's a nice, got a 120 millimeter fan on it. Nice.
Wow.
It's a big one, but I'm going to be building I want to move this to a different case. And so I can add another case fan. And also I don't want to upgrade my power supply too.
Nick, what did you say?
Is that the Corsair Hyper 1212?
No, this is a Cooler Master Hype. Oh, it is the 1212. Yes, you're right. 1212. Yeah, it's just it's sold under the Cooler Master.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah,
yeah.
The last 2 computers I've had, I use those fans. They're like 30, 40 bucks for the fan. Really cheap.
Really nice fan though. Wow, really, I'm impressed with I looked at different ranges of fans, and I picked this one. I got it on Amazon, but I wanted something that had horizontal airflow, not vertical airflow, because of the way I was exhausting the case. So, but yeah, nice fan. Amnon, you should have seen that. I went digging through my crawl space looking at old cases I had, and I found an old server case that was literally 32 inches high.
Oof.
You could use it as a desk almost. It had enough room in there for 6 3.5-inch drives. Plus it had 4 full or half-size slots, 5.5-inch slots.
5 1/4, yeah.
And there was still, above all that,
there
was more open space.
Yeah.
I said, no, this is overkill, and I wouldn't be able to fit it under my desk anyway. So,
well, you can use it as a side thing.
I could, but they didn't have accommodations in there for the 120 millimeter fans. It only had the older ones. I wanted to put a couple of big ones in there. So,
what in the world?
I don't know.
Why is it jumping over there?
What's that?
No, it's sometimes Skype jumps all the way to the other.
Do you want me to do the specials?
You can.
Or wait till after?
Well, we can do either or. What do you want to do?
Oh, you tell me.
Okay, well, since you're not reading my messages,
I am. That's what I told Spence, that we need to do the specials earlier because of Andrew. So
let's get Andrew in and get Andrew out. Andrew, can we hear you, Andrew? Hello? You are muted. Do not hear you.
Andrew? Is he? Oh, he's muted on his end?
Yeah, we're trying to get it sorted out.
Okay. Yeah, so Spence, we can do it afterwards.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, no.
Which is my command.
Is fine.
He's reloading, so
That's
hopefully
okay.
we
That's
can get
okay.
him.
That's fine.
Can you hear me fine? Is my audio coming?
Yeah. Yeah,
Nick,
but
I found the settings in Gab, and it was like I just didn't have it. I didn't have the screen scrolled up far enough. I'm like, I can't find the settings anywhere. How can I make any changes? Moron.
Still can't hear you, Andrew.
Your video is still kind of. Try not to move much. I know it's hard. Yeah. So Nick, just you know, tell the audience who we have coming up.
Well, let's get his audio is not working, so let's try to get that set up first. Why don't you just throw another story out, Anon?
So our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K voice on Skype.
Actually, I have something. I saw that this week.
Yeah.
So it's official that the Time Warner cable rollout of Max in my area will not ever be coming.
Oh, you kidding?
So yeah, there was I think it was on the Albany subreddit, but yeah, it was on actually stopthecap.com, and so it reads: Time Warner cable customers getting inundated with ads promising great things from Charter buyouts of Time Warner have finally broken their promise from Spectrum connected with instead. Charter Communications has quietly informed Time Warner technicians and network engineers, but not the consumers, that it has indefinitely suspended the Time Warner Cable Max upgrade program until further notice, until the new leadership team reviews the program. So, looks like we're SOL on that.
Can you guys hear me now? There we go.
Yes.
Morning, Andrew.
Awesome.
Okay. Morning. There we go. Finally. I was wondering what was going on. Thank you guys for having me on. Good morning.
Thank you.
So Andrew, we talked about Andrew's platform last week, Gab, and Amnon went ahead and got him on the show. So Andrew, what is Gab, and what can people expect from Gab?
Sure. So Gab is a new social network, and we're calling it a people-powered social network. And really, our mission is very, very simple. It's to put people first online for the first time, and to promote free speech online for everybody around the world. So one of the biggest problems right now in social media is that people are being extorted, and extorted in a lot of different ways. So if you're an average user, chances are you don't know that this is going on, but there's a lot of censorship, and a lot of the data from the content that you are sharing across social media is being monetized kind of behind your back, off the back of selling ads to advertisers. So what we're trying to do, and then also, just in culture in general, over the past year or two, conservatives have felt like their opinions and ideas and thoughts have been suppressed or censored or left out, because one of the problems is that you have basically 4 or 5 companies that are owning, running, operating every major form of communications that we have on the internet. And these companies are forming internal or third-party or hidden editorial boards, essentially, to decide what is news and what isn't, and what is allowed and what isn't. And more recently, probably over the past year or so, maybe the past 2, conservative users have been, suspended or banned, or have had their ideas and their thoughts suppressed. So we have built the alternative with a goal of promoting free speech and open discourse. And one of the ways that we're going to help prevent that censorship on our end is by open sourcing different parts of our product, so that the third-party developer community can A, help us improve it and make it better, and B, help keep us in check in terms of transparency, to help prevent a lot of the censorship that is going on behind the scenes and in the shadows right now on some of the major social networks. So that's what we're working on, and we launched this actually 13 days ago. And as of right now, we have over 21,000 people that are waiting to get into our beta test. We've let about 5,000 of them in so far, and of those 5,000, we have some of the top conservative influencers, and then also moderate influencers too. So Dave Rubin of the Rubin Report, Laura Southern, we have Milo Yiannopoulos on board. We have writers from Breitbart on board, a lot of new media companies that are joining up. And our pitch is pretty simple. So if you're a user, what we want to do is help you monetize your time and your content. So we have these content creators on the internet that spend all day, every day, tweeting or creating high quality content, whether it's a blog post or art or videos or whatever it is that they do. And these big social channels have always promised them one thing, and that's distribution. And at first they got that, but over the last couple of years, that has slowly been eroded. And now all the systems have essentially become pay to play. So what we want to do is empower users to monetize their content, their time spent on Gab by allowing them to accept tips or donations, or even have a subscription option where they can provide premium content to users that are subscribing to them. And then obviously on our end, our business model would be taking a cut of that, as opposed to running ads and packaging user data and reselling it to advertisers to get in front of those people. We think that this model is pretty broken on the internet, especially with the rise of ad blockers. Now we're seeing, I think it's over 20 million, or by 2017, ad blockers are expected to remove about $12 billion in advertising dollars from digital advertising. So I think that people are starting to wake up. They're starting to push back. They're starting to be this awareness of what's going on with their personal data and how it's being used and how it's being sold kind of behind their back. And they're not getting any profit from that or any benefit from it, really. So again, our whole goal is just to put people first. And those are some of the ways that we're focused on doing that right now.
Yeah, so you talk about people first, and I like the mix that you have between Reddit and Twitter. What was the idea behind that?
Sure. So Gab is different than most of the major platforms in that it takes a lot of what's best from each platform and kind of rolls it into one. So right off the top, we have 300 characters as opposed to 140. And we felt like this gives a lot more room for open discourse and gives a lot more room for an intelligent and rational and reasonable and respectful discussion. Because one of the problems with 140 characters is it's very, very difficult to have any form of intellectual conversation without a thread of tweets back to back to back to back. And that's not really efficient in terms of readability and in terms of understanding and in terms of conversation flow. So right off the bat, we have 300 characters. Secondly, as you mentioned, we have upvotes and downvotes. We feel like this right now is really, if I'm being honest, largely an experiment. So we've added these in here. Our thinking is that the community will help self-police good and bad content by upvoting and downvoting. Obviously, there's going to need to be some systems in place to prevent some of the things that go on right now on other platforms that have upvotes and downvotes like Reddit. Things like different communities brigading or all going after a subset of one user or a certain group of users at the same time to all downvote them at the same time. So there are different things that we're working on to help prevent that. So for example, we want to make it so that you can't actually downvote until you have X amount of karma. And that's another thing that we also have. We don't call it karma, we actually call it frog points. But basically they're made up internet points that are a sum of the total upvotes and downvotes that you have across all of your content. And it's just a fun way to kind of gamify the platform and make it a little bit more fun and interesting. But beyond that, I mean, we felt like the upvote downvote system was a great way to have the community help with self-policing versus having us as a company try to be big brother and moderate and tell people, what type of content they can post and what type of content they can't post.
Yeah, awesome. I guess so. You said you have 20,000 people signed up, and you have and 5,000 people on the service right now.
Mm-hmm.
Stat-wise, are you what you were expecting? It's to the website views. What's going on with that?
Yeah. I mean, we're actually about to surpass over 1 million views.
Really?
Over 1 million page views within the first 13 days of being live. So tomorrow at 5 p.m. will be exactly 2 weeks that Gab has been in private beta. And I think we're going to blow past over 1 million page views way before then. We have almost 100,000 total Gabs or posts that have been sent in that time as well by those 5,000 people or so. And every day we're rolling out, a few thousand more invites now. So the reason that we're doing beta is the product is not really where we want it to be yet for a public-facing product, but it's getting improved every single day. So we're taking user feedback and really focusing on fostering a really strong community very early on of early adopters that can help us scale the platform to billions of people, because that's our goal here.
Now, you mentioned something about open sourcing. You said open sourcing development. What if people are interested? What kind of opportunities, from your mind, are available to people if they're interested?
Sure. So our core focus right now is to work on the core products, work on the core features, get it stable, get it scalable, and then start open sourcing different parts of the project. So we're not going to open source the full product. I just want that to be very clear. It's not an open source project as a whole. It is going to be a private individual company, but what we want to do is open source certain product sets from within the product itself or underneath the product umbrella. And mainly the reason that we're doing that is because we want to prevent what's happening right now across some of the major big social networks, which is editorial policing, censorship, suppression, and it all goes down kind of behind closed doors. By nature, when censorship is happening, we don't know that it's happening because things are being censored. But what we want to do is open source things like trends as a perfect example, like trending hashtags, so that we as a company cannot manipulate those trends based on our own political agenda or based on our monetary or shareholder value agenda. What we're trying to do is just, again, encourage open, raw, honest, respectful discourse. And we think that by open sourcing that the trend system, that it will allow us to be transparent about what's going on, and then also allow our developer community to help us improve the system overall for everybody. So obviously, as we scale, like right now, we're a pretty small community. But as we scale to say 5 million or 50 million or 500 million users, the trend system is probably going to need to be improved and probably need to be changed to account for those things. And we would love the third-party developer community to help us out with that. One of the interesting things is that I've actually been a third-party developer in the big social ecosystem for the past 5 years with my first company, automateads.com. And I know firsthand what it's like to be a third-party developer in these ecosystems. You are treated very poorly. I've had things and products and features stolen right out from under us without a second thought. And it's something that needs to change, because that's the other level of extortion that's going on here is this startup ecosystem and this third-party developer ecosystem around these big social networks that has constantly and consistently been abused and treated very poorly over the last decade. And that's something that we want to change.
Awesome. Now, the one thing that I guess I've seen the most backlash over the past week or so has been, you say it's free speech, and people assume, specifically trolls on the internet, assume that means you can say anything to anybody and make death threats and
Sure.
say you want to kill a group of people. So how are you dealing with it being free speech, but also, free speech has its limits?
Absolutely. So in order to have a big community and a great community, there has to be some sort of law and order, right? It can't just be anything goes. Free speech and hate speech and speech that breaks the law are two very different things. So what our philosophy around this, we have very simple guidelines. There are only 3. Very, very simple. Anything that is illegal in the real world is illegal on Gab. So you cannot make threats of violence. Any threat of violence whatsoever will not be tolerated. And that includes acts of terror or promoting terrorist groups or terror agendas. And we define terrorist groups or organizations at Gab based on what the US or the UN labels as terror groups. So that's step 1. Rule number 2 or guideline number 2 is there's no illegal pornography of any kind. So this can be child porn, or this could be what's known as revenge porn. So revenge porn is a little bit more difficult. We're going to need obviously the person to reach out and make a claim in order to understand that it is revenge porn in the first place. Otherwise, it'd be very, very difficult. But beyond that, that's it, right? So just to recap, no threats of violence of any kind, or no inciting violence, or supporting or promoting terror groups that are labeled by the U.S. or the UN. No doxing or exposing someone's personal information without their express consent. And then number 3 is no illegal pornography. But beyond that, you can speak freely. And what we found is that similar to having limited government, this creates an ecosystem of trust and of respect. So when you say, hey, listen, like we only have 3 rules, like this is very simple, and you're breaking one of them. Can you please remove this content? It's breaking guideline 1 or guideline 2 or guideline 3. And what we found is that most trolls, I guess if that's how you want to label them, when you treat them with respect and with empathy and kindness, and you understand that, like, hey, there's a human on the other side of whatever this content is, regardless of how vile it is or what it is, there's a human at the other end of here. And we found that when you understand this, when you respect this, and you treat them like people, they will respect your guidelines, and they'll respect your rules, and 9 times out of 10 they'll remove it. So obviously it's important that everyone feels safe if they're going to express themselves freely, and that's why we have these guidelines, and we think that they're common sense. And will they develop over time? I'm sure, but that's something that we're gonna be involving the community in, and be obviously very transparent about as well.
Yeah. Have you had to ban people from the service yet? Is that been something?
Nope.
No. So even trolls that are on there, you're just asking them to remove their posts, and
yep. And yeah, I mean,
doing that?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so far we've only had, I believe, 3 incidents of somebody breaking one of the guidelines, and all 3 times we've had those folks thankfully and gratefully remove that content. So everybody's been pretty cool so far, but we'll see what happens at scale. I think most people don't understand that 95% of internet trolls are teenagers between the ages of 15 and 19. Who are sitting online all day, every day, anonymously, and causing mischief simply because they can, and because nobody's telling them not to. So I think that we've all had this stage in our lives, and now that we have over 1 billion people online from around the world, you're talking about tens of millions, hundreds of millions of teenage kids that are now online and can be mischievous. So I think that that's why we're seeing a lot of this harassment and these extreme forms of harassment anyway. But I think that one of the ways that we're trying to combat that is we're going to verify everybody. So every single user that signs up for Gab will have the ability to verify their identity. So we don't use those blue check marks as a social identifier or an elitist symbol of a celebrity or a big personality. We use them for one purpose, and that's to verify identity. And our thinking here is that if we verify identity, people will be much less likely to harass others with their name attached to it. I don't know how true that is at scale, but I believe that it'll at least help curb it a little bit. That being said, we believe that anonymity is very important for some people to be able to speak freely. So some people don't feel comfortable putting their identity behind their ideas or their thoughts, for job purposes or whatever. So we think that they should still have the ability to do that. But what we want to do is, again, just completely and totally empower the user to create and mold their own experience on Gab. And that's what really makes us different. So instead of us as a company trying to censor and pick and choose what users should be seeing and what we think they shouldn't be seeing, we let the user self-police their own feed. And we do this through censorship tools, user censorship tools, not company censorship tools. And that's what makes them different. So our censorship tools allow users to block certain words or hashtags or phrases, or mute, not block, mute people that they don't want to see. So if you, if certain words, cause you to get upset when people use them online, you can add these words or these hashtags or these people to these block lists to help prevent that type of content from being in your feed.
Nice.
So this is what it looks like. It's called See No Evil, and it's a cool concept. So you instead of actually blocking somebody, you mute them, or if if people like say if something triggers you, we can add that to your list and make
Yes.
sure nothing bad happens there.
Exactly. So on the left, you can mute users, and muting is a little bit different than blocking. So some people, when someone blocks them, they wear that as a badge of honor, right? Like trolls see a block as mission accomplished. Like, I did my job. I triggered this person into being so upset that they blocked me, and now they can no longer see me. So that's almost like a reward system to these trolls, and it's almost feeding them to continue to do these things. They get some sort of sick pleasure out of hurting other people. Again, it could be an immaturity thing. I think most of them are pretty young. But yeah, so muting is something that makes it so that you, the user, won't see that other person's content, but they won't know that you can't see it. So if you were following them, for example, they'll still see you following them, and they'll still be able to see your content, but you just won't see them, or you won't see their content, and
Awesome.
they won't know it.
Now, a little inside baseball. What features are you working on rolling out behind the scenes that you think are going to be really big for Gab?
Sure. So obviously, mobile is social. So we're working on mobile apps right now, iOS and Android. And the other big thing is the tipping system that I was talking about earlier. So that's our big initiative, and I think that is really going to change the game, and that's really going to incentivize a lot of the bigger influencers on YouTube and on Facebook and on Twitter to make the switch over to Gab and to start transitioning their audiences over to Gab once they have a monetary incentive to do so. We think that that's going to be a really big draw, and that feature will really just skyrocket us into the stratosphere as the next big social platform.
Yeah, it's nice because you've had time to see specifically stuff you're pulling from Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, and the Twitch model is what you're talking about with the subscriptions to the users. So you've had opportunities to watch all of these massive sites grow and then little pieces. Because there has been other social networks, specifically like LO that started up, but they were pretty much a Twitter clone. There was nothing unique with LO.
Yep, exactly.
So you're looking to be.
And beyond that too, it's about timing. So I think a lot of people have compared us to LO and to Helio, which was the birth child of the TwitPic founder Noah Everett a few years ago. After once again, Twitter removed, I believe, their API access to TwitPic and just treated them terribly as developers. So he ended up creating Helio, which was basically a Twitter clone, and that failed as well. And LO failed, or at least that would be my opinion. And it's a failure at this point. Like, who's using it? I think a lot of it is timing as well. So obviously, where we're at in history right now, what's going on around the world, not only the United States, but around the world. You look at Brexit, you look at, the conservative uprising, I guess you could call it, around the world. We're kind of playing into that narrative and playing into the, screw the establishment, fight back as the people narrative. And it's not just a narrative to us. I think it's like, I really believe it. And it's something that I've, again, experienced firsthand over the past 5 years. And I know, just being in the tech industry, I know what's going on behind the scenes. I know how things work. I know what's going on, and I want the people to know about it, and I want it to be exposed because we're all being played, and it's a big con job. And I think it's time to burst the bubble, and it's time to fight back, and it's time to rethink social networking on the internet and give the power back to the people and let them mold their own experience, monetize their time and their content. And engage in rational, open, raw, honest discourse online. That's really our top 3 goals.
Awesome. Anon, Spencer, you guys have any questions for Andrew here?
We covered. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Spence.
No, well, Andrew, thanks a lot for doing this. I mean, I'm been one of those people that have been sitting on the sidelines watching this whole environment fall apart, and you answered my question when you talked about how you're going to deal with trolls. So that was my main concern was, wow, how do you figure that out?
Sure. So. Yep. No, I think the user censorship tools will really help with that. And one of the ways that we want to help scale that, and again, this is not just like hateful, bad words, right? Like me, for example, like I'm not really a big sports guy. So for the next 18 weeks, 18 Sundays, I don't want to see, NFL scores.
You
Flooding.
may have to unfollow me on Gab, Andrew. I'm sorry. It's gonna get bad.
No, I was gonna say, right. So this is just an example I like to use. So I don't want to see NFL scores all day, every day on Sunday, just flooding my Gab feed. So maybe I'll block the words NFL. Maybe I'll block NFL teams. Maybe I'll block anything really that has to do with sports to prevent myself from seeing that. I'm not going to do that. I just use that as an example. I'm actually not blocking anything right now because I don't need a safe space. I'm a mature adult and I can handle trolls on the internet. But there is 100% a problem with harassment in extreme forms online, and brigading is what that tends to take shape in, and where it becomes a problem. So when we have bullies in real life, like think of bullies in real life, there's typically maybe 1, 2 of them. You're right there. Maybe you have some other friends around that can help you out. But when it's online, it's at scale. So you're talking about potentially tens of thousands of people swarming one certain individual and harassing them nonstop, in an all-out attack all day, every day. And that's not something that's okay, right? Like nobody wants to experience, something like that, and nobody would wish that type of experience on anybody else. But I think that by giving powers back to the user and empowering them to mold their own experience and shape their own experience and prevent some of this stuff from happening in the first place, with the self-censorship tools, I guess you could call them, or the censorship tools, it'll help prevent a lot of that's going on right now.
Yeah, and it's interesting because that stuff goes both ways. It often, people that tend to lean more to the right, like you look at the whole Leslie Jones Milo Yiannopoulos scenario, where a lot of people kind of jumped on the bandwagon attacking Leslie Jones on Twitter, and that in their perspective it was okay because she said some stuff back and forth with Milo, but then it wasn't okay when Twitter banned Milo, and that stuff has to go both ways. You can't harass one side of it can't be okay to harass the left, but then when the left harasses you, it's not okay. So I think a lot of people need to open up to that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's a bias. I mean, there's a clear agenda, and there's a clear message to conservatives and to folks on the right that they're not welcome, and that their ideas are not welcome, and that they're going to be suppressed. And people are standing up. They're sick of it, right? Like, we're not going to stand for it anymore. We're going to fight back. We're going to take the internet back. We're going to make social media great again, if you will, if you'll entertain me. And I think that, together we can do so. If we have, and that's one of the reasons too, that I'm saying developers, we're welcoming you with open arms. We want to have a very strong developer ecosystem and developer community from day one, because if Gab has the top 10,000 developers around the world that are contributing to the Gab ecosystem, that are in the Gab ecosystem, we'll be unstoppable. We'll be able to beat Facebook. We'll be able to beat Google. We'll be able to beat anybody, right? Without any funding, if need be. Obviously, I think that we'll need financing, and we're in the process of going through that right now, because we want to take this to the stratosphere. We want to change the way that discourse and that community and that monetization for individual people and for content creators is happening online.
Yeah, now you mentioned payment. Of course, I don't want to get too much into what your goal is for monetization, but you said something interesting the other day when we were going back and forth about you want advertisers that the community approves and that are also have what the community supports in mind. So somebody just can't throw money at you and say, "Oh, hey, we want this user gone off the website because we're paying you $100,000 for this ad campaign."
Yep. Yes, exactly. So, I think I've been very clear about this too on Gab and publicly. We have no interest in ads right now. I've been in the ad tech space for the past 5 years. I have no ambitions to jump back in it anytime soon. And obviously, we want to be really focused on building community and creating a great experience first. Are there room for ads down the line? Absolutely. But one thing that I want to make very clear is that I am not and never will bend my knee to advertisers or to shareholders. My focus, no matter if we have a community of 3,000 people or 300 million, is going to be on putting those people first at all times. Because right now, and I think probably since maybe the 80s, maybe starting in the 70s, business has taken this cultural shift towards putting profits and putting shareholder interests before the interest of creating value for customers or for people. And that's something that I hope that with Gab we can change. We can switch the narrative around and say, no, like business and running a business was never about creating massive amounts of profits for a handful of people. It's about creating as much value as possible for as many people as possible, and changing the world and improving it and solving problems for all of us for the better, not so that a few of us, a select few, can continually gain wealth and power and et cetera.
Yeah, well, from my opinion, I think you got a dynamite product, and it's perfect time, especially with the the next 2 months are really the social media traffic, especially around the election, it's just through the roof. So
absolutely,
thanks for what you're doing, and it's working fantastic so far. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the product is about 2 weeks old, so we got a lot of work to do. We realize we have a lot of improvements to make. A few bug fixes, but overall, I'm really, really proud of what we built here, and I think that given a few more weeks, once we get our mobile apps out the door and polish the product up a little bit and finish up some of the core feature sets that we're working on, I think we'll have a very clear home run and a place where people can very quickly and very easily transition to, if they feel like they right now can't speak freely, or that they're being extorted. Really is what it is. It's extortion and abuse of their data and of their time and of their content. And I think that millions and millions and millions of people around the world feel this way.
Yeah. Amnon, you got anything else before we let Andrew go here?
First of all, there's a question in the chat that says, who's paying the bills at Gab?
Right now, that's me. So Gab
Okay.
is 100% off the back of my credit card, actually, believe it or not. We're a scrappy 3-person startup working out of a coffee shop right now. But we've had plenty of folks reaching out in the community who are interested in investing. And one of the things that we're working on right now, again, just going back to that narrative of putting people first in our mission statement, we're going to do a portion of our first seed round from the community. So we're going to open it up and allow the community to invest and to become a part of Gab at the ground floor, as opposed to some elitist angel investor or VC firm on Sand Hill Road in Silicon Valley. That is what typically gets the inside scoop and the inside deal on the next big thing. We're going to turn this around and again, go back to that narrative of putting people first and allow the people to contribute to this project and to become a part of it. And that's something that I'm really excited about, and I think the community as well. And then beyond that, we're also talking to traditional angel investors and some institutional investors as well to map out a financing round and to build out our core team and obviously to have a little bit of cash in the bank to pay for servers and all that kind of good stuff.
Okay, so we heard what Gab is and what you're doing with it and all this. Now, tell the audience and the people out there, what can we do to help Gab get where you want it to be?
Sure. So, I mean, the best thing you can do to help us right now is to spread the word. So I think we're really in phase 1 here, and phase 1 is education. So what we want to do first is educate people and create awareness around what's going on right now with their data and with how these big social platforms operate and how they're making money off the back of people. And that is really, kind of our core focus right now is creating awareness around that. And obviously creating awareness of Gab itself. So tell your friends, one of the things that we're trying to fight back against and prevent is creating an echo chamber. So obviously, there are millions of conservatives who feel disenfranchised and for years now, like they're unable to speak freely online. So we're seeing a huge influx and massive demand from the right and from even mid-center right and even centrist, I would argue. But we definitely need some more progressives. We definitely need some more folks on the left, or this isn't going to work, because we don't want just a big rah-rah parade around conservatism. We don't want an echo chamber. We want, people that are going to respect each other and engage in civil discourse, and be able to move on after they have a discussion or debate and not, think twice about it, right? So That's what we're looking for. And if you have any progressive friends, if you're out there listening, if you're watching and you're progressive, if you're on the left, if you're a centrist, if you're apolitical, reach out and we'll get you in the door. And that's one of the biggest things that we're fighting back against right now is creating an echo chamber. So if you want to help, send some progressives and people and folks from the left our way.
Yeah, a guy that's on the right is asking you to send your left leaning friends to this service, and it's good because I have seen over the past few days people popping up, a lot of Bernie people that
Yep.
supported Bernie really hard, and
Yep.
even some Hillary people starting to pop up. So
Absolutely,
it's nice to see them on the service.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think right now that a lot of them are they're not really gabbing a lot, but they're just kind of monitoring and paying close attention. And I don't blame them because maybe they're from other experiences on other services. That's why they're probably holding back and trying to keep themselves for now until at least more progressives and more folks from the left get on there to make it a little bit more even, a little bit more fair. And one of the ways that we're trying to combat this is by bringing in conservative or influencers on the left and in the center. So folks like Dave Rubin, I think is going to be a great start. If he can pull in a nice chunk of his audience, I think that the community will even out a little bit more. Or maybe Senk. I think that if he pulled in some of his audience, or if he joined, that we would also see a lot of folks on the left join, a lot of folks come in from his audience. So hopefully we can combat this by bringing in some of those bigger influencers on the other side and not create an echo chamber and just promote free speech and a place where people feel like they're comfortable expressing themselves and that they have an experience that is real, raw, and not suppressed and not censored and not guided by an internal editorial board at a company, a progressive company in Silicon Valley.
Yeah. Now, what can people do if they want to get signed up today? What's going on with that?
Sure. So you can go to our website. It's www.gab.ai. And you can enter in your email address and claim your spot in line. Right now, obviously, we're in private beta and we're rolling out invites every single day. We have very, very high demand and it's growing pretty quickly. But I would suggest signing up pretty early because if you're in the early group of the first 100,000 or so, chances are you're going to get the username that you want. And that's what most people are tend to be most concerned about, is getting their favorite username. And then secondly, they want their fancy blue check mark. So those are two things that we're working on scaling. And if you want to join us and you want to fight back and you want to put people first and you want to promote free speech online for everybody, you can go to gab.ai and enter in your email address to sign up.
Awesome. Thank you. Amnon, you want to wrap it up? Anything else from you?
There are a couple more questions in the chat. I mean, they keep on beating me to it, and somebody's is asked, is the organization a corporation or LLC?
Yeah, so it's a C corp. Yeah, it's a Delaware C corp.
Right. And Arnie is asking, how are you going to make money to pay back the investors? Or is this
so,
even? Go
so
ahead.
that tipping and donation system that I was talking about, our subscription system, the company would take a commission on that or a percentage of sales.
Okay.
And that would be our business model. And then obviously, like I said, down the line, there may be room for ads that are sensible and that our community can appreciate. But right now, that's not our focus at all.
Okay. And now for the people that are going to go and register now, I know there was some people complain, oh, we're not getting our invitation. How long do people need to wait? I mean, to know
Sure.
right off the bat, I'm going to have to wait 2 weeks. I'm going to have to wait 3 weeks.
So the average wait right now is about a week. We're rolling out, like I said, thousands of invites every single day. So please be patient. It is a private beta. Everybody will have the chance to get in. If you wait more than a week, please reach out to me. Chances are maybe our email landed in spam, or maybe one of your filters didn't like our .ai domain. We've seen that happen. So if that happens, please reach out to us on Twitter or anywhere else, to get in touch, and we'll help you get in the door.
There you go, guys. I mean, everybody should go and register.
And just before I head out here,
go ahead.
Should we tell the story of how we connected and how you got?
I wasn't going to bring it up.
So actually, I got a phone call randomly about 2 days after launch, and I got this voicemail from Amnon, and he's like, "Hey, I want an invite to Gab, and by the way, there's something wrong with your email service." So I was like, "What? Who is this guy?" Like, called my phone number, and how did he get my phone number? So I called him back and I said, "Hey, listen, I really appreciate it, and I'd love to get you into Gab, and I appreciate you you pointing out, the error with our email system. But how the heck did you get my phone number?" So that's how we met, and that's how we ended up getting me on the show.
Did you fix it?
Yes, I believe we
Okay.
did fix it.
Okay.
At least I hope we did. I passed it off to the guys, so hopefully they fixed it.
All right. Good.
So thank you so much, guys, for having me on.
No, thank
Not a
you.
problem. Thank you so much for what you're doing, Andrew.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Take care.
Bye.
Yeah, that's
All right. That was
I mean-
Torba of Gab. You check out gab.ai.
Oh, you are suddenly Gilberting. Just refresh real quick.
I don't need to
Or I don't
refresh,
know,
I'm
do
all set.
something.
So there, gab.ai.
Yeah,
Check it out.
That's good. Now it's good. Yeah, it is good. And I'm not a big Twitter user, or I was never a big user of social network. It is fun to go and read on Gab AI because it's all nice stuff, or right now it is, and I like positive stuff. I don't like negativity, negative this, negative that. This is really, really nice. So if even if you're not gonna, I mean, look, like he said, what do you have to lose? Go ahead, register, and get your invitation, get your username, and if you are active on Twitter, then take that activity over here, because I like the fact. I mean, the no censorship is the only thing that's in my book. That's it. This is good.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing I would say to people listening is don't get on this. Don't sign up and then get an account and then just sit there. Like he said, it's a small, compared to the global, if you look at how many people have Twitter accounts, 20,000 people is a very small portion of that.
Yeah, but look how long Twitter
No,
has
I know.
been there.
No, I know. But what I'm saying is don't just go on there and sign up for an account and don't do anything. If you're going to go and get on the service, you have to be willing to put in, put something into it while it's still a relatively small community.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I'm leading a group of people that is doing college outreach for Gab. So I'm working with Andrew and with another man on the service to reach out to college students and get them signed up for the service. So you have to be willing to put something into the service if you want to get something out of it.
Yeah.
It's not sign up, change your profile picture and then never post anything.
Right.
Because the service just dies that way. So can
See, and I meant to
there's
go,
a lot of great discourse back
and I meant to go and tell all my followers on Gab this morning to come and listen, and I forgot because, see, again, I'm not the social network user. But I keep forgetting. Spence, you here?
Yeah.
Is he
I'm
muted?
here. No, I was muted, but I was.
You
I
ready
heard you.
to do the specials? I don't want to drag
I already
you.
did them. You missed it.
You did it for yourself.
I did. Well, I was doing it in the background. I figured we were broadcasting on the simulcast channel.
NISA Communications .1. Yeah, on the, on the subject.
That's it. All right. We
All
are
right.
ready to go.
All right.
Computers 2K Now specials for August 28th, 2016. I can't believe it's the end of August.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Well, here we go. We've got Staples with a couple of different PC deals out there. Dell Inspiron 15.6-inch laptop for $349. This is an i3 machine. That's $150 off the regular price. And we're probably far enough into it now to have a discussion about what to buy for college. We'll talk about that, I guess, when we're done. But beware! Don't buy that. You don't necessarily have to buy an i7 for a student that is not going to be doing any heavy science. But I digress. The next two machines actually have the new Intel Pentium quad core processor, which is a heck of a deal. I've already purchased this first one, the HP 22-inch all-in-one desktop, for someone actually at Staples for this price, $349.99. It's $80 off the regular price. It is a great all-in-one. Is not a touchscreen if you don't need it. Um, good deal. And also the same processors in this HP Slimline standalone desktop machine. Well, no, it's not standalone. I'm sorry, but desktop machine for $249.99. So if you're looking for a really good general purpose home machine, either of these will do well. Logitech MK710 full size wireless keyboard and mouse, $69.99. That's 30 off the regular price. This is a full function programmable keyboard. A 24-inch AOC LED monitor for $99.99. That's 50 off. Chromecast 5 off is $30. A good alternative if you have an Android device, it is probably the best way to stream to your television. But I also use it with my iPad. I use it from my Mac desktop. And there are some, I don't remember the name of the app, but there is a nice app you can get for your iPad for streaming that uses their own browser that will find, and you go to a page that's got video links. It will say, found the following video links on this page. Which one would you like to stream? And we'll take over from there. It does a very good job using Chromecast. Lexar 32 gig USB flash drives for $11.99 is $3 off. These are the tiny ones, the micro ones that you plug in and just leave them there, which is nice if you have a laptop. PNY 128 gig USB 3.0 flash drive for $24.99. That's $25 off the regular price. Brother, the good old standby Brother printer scanner fax copier laser printer, $129.99, 70 off the regular price. The reason why this next one has the red don't buy here is that in the next vendor, the next retailer, it's $10 cheaper.
Okay.
So we'll get to that. I just didn't want to go back and delete that and try to find something else. I don't have enough brain cells in the morning to do that. HP OfficeJet 6980 all-in-one printer for $89.99. That's 60 off. And if you need a high-capacity sheet-fed scanner, used typically for things like receipts or organizing lots of documents, Epson Workforce is one of the options. There are several other ones out there, but a good price for the DS510 document scanner. I think it copies both sides at the same time on one pass. $279.99.
You mean scans?
Scans. I'm sorry. Scans both sides on one pass.
Yeah.
70 off. That is all at Staples. Over at Best Buy, we've got a Lenovo desktop AMD FX series with 16 gig of memory for $499.99. That's 200 off. Got an Acer Core i5 laptop, $379 for an i5. That's a good deal. I've got an AMD A10 and an HP 15.6-inch laptop for $329.99. Save $70.
I want to interrupt a second and get your opinion and Nick's opinion. Look at this though. It's a Windows 10, 4 gig. Is that really enough for Windows 10?
No, I don't think. No, I don't
Depends
think
on what
so.
you're doing.
It's weird though, because you have an i5, which is a powerful processor, and then you've got such a limited. I think 8 gigs is the minimum now. I would think.
I would say
Especially
right,
with
it's
an i5.
advisable to have 8, but I know
If it
people
was
that
an
are running
I'd
10,
say maybe.
running 10 on a dual processor machine with 4 gig, and it does what they need it to do.
Yeah.
Nothing
Okay.
intensive.
All right. So yeah. All right.
That's one of the things I was impressed about with Windows 10 was how well it did on some limited machines compared to Windows 7. So it seemed like a little bit better, or no visible degrading that I could find. But I still go with an older machine. I still go with LXLE Linux distribution, because that just does a great job of making a old machine work really well. So 20-inch LED monitor for $79.99. That's 20 off. Entry-level tablet, Digiland 8-inch tablet, 32 gig of memory for $79.99. It says with 2-year activation, and I said, well, what are they talking about? This is a Windows 10 tablet, by the way. I went into the rest of the ad. I couldn't find anything in there about activation. This is not a cell phone, so I believe that this is an error. But
let me tell you, I got Kathy one of those iRulu tablets.
yeah,
the 9-inch, and throughout the whole thing, everything is about a phone. It's what rate and what this, and I mean, I said, this is a tablet. It's not a phone. But I guess it's the Android that they put on it. Android is the thing that triggers all these questions.
well, this is a Windows 10.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
Maybe it came from
I
Windows.
couldn't find it.
Windows Phone.
Anywhere else in the ad, I couldn't find anything about activation. So
Yeah.
don't know why it's there. But beware, if that's the case, what the heck are you activating if there's no phone in it? So
Yeah.
it's not a data plan thing. It doesn't. It's a Wi-Fi only.
Right.
So
Right.
Samsung Galaxy Tab A, $149.99, 7-inch, 8 gig. Logitech K830 illuminated keyboard. This is this has the glide pad on it. That's why I mentioned it here. It's expensive, but any illuminated keyboard is going to be expensive. But the fact that it's got the glide pad on it is why I pointed out. It's 25 off. Logitech Pro webcam. This is the high-end Logitech for $30 off the regular price. It's $99.99.
Logitech Pro. Well, so this is higher than the 930.
Oh, I think that's what I think it's a 940.
Yeah, so it's new. Interesting.
So yeah, so they call it the Pro. I had to drill into that one to find out what model number it was. Western Digital 3 terabyte USB 3.0 portable drive for $129. That's a very good deal for 3 terabytes. Brother mono laser printer wireless. This is usually on sale $99, so it's even more off. It's $89.99, say $40. It is automatic duplex and wireless. HP Envy 5540 wireless all-in-one $79.99, save $50. And finally, an entry-level Brother inkjet printer for $49.99. It's an MFC 485 DW duplex and wireless. All good deals, but again, you got to look at the supplies for them.
Right, to the cost. And one thing, a lot of people, they hear wireless, say, oh, I don't want a wireless. These will work with USB.
Yes, it's how you set it up typically. Although
And
the newer
you can
ones will let
continue-
you connect.
And you can
The newer ones will
continue
let you
using
connect
it.
to the wireless without USB.
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But it's a good idea to have USB, because if you have a problem with your network, you
Right.
can't print.
Yep.
So yeah, so it's they all have USB, and some of them have Ethernet. Also, yep. All right, that's all at Best Buy. At Office Depot, Office Max. The theme today was video surveillance, as I was looking around, because I'm actually thinking about adding some 4-channel, 4-camera. It says PoE system.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure I really understand, because they're all PoE. It has to be. It's not over Ethernet though.
No.
It's power over the cable.
Okay, yeah, it's power. Not all of them are like that. Some of them need to have the little brick. They need to have.
Some of them have to have the transformer at the camera.
This one feeds the power on one of the pairs.
Yes.
Yeah.
But to say PoE, it should be POW, power over wire.
Yeah.
It's not over Ethernet.
Right.
But needless to say, it's a good price for what you're getting here.
Absolutely.
D-Link Outdoor HD Wireless Network Cloud Camera. This is a standalone product. If you want to put something outside, $215. I have a much cheaper version, indoor version of this.
And Spence, I mean, look, here is the camera. Wireless, outdoor. You still need to bring power to it.
Power to it, absolutely. No, wireless power.
Yeah, wireless power, exactly. From the
That's it.
clouds. Yeah,
That's right.
right.
Yeah, you still have to power. And that's the, I had someone approach me, oh, could you install a wireless camera system at my house? I said, you do realize you still have to run wires.
Yeah,
What do you mean? I said, well, you got to power it. It's not, unless you go with batteries, and you're not going to put batteries up on the second floor underneath the soffits.
right.
So battery ones are very good for indoors because you can easily change them. So most security systems now have battery powered sensors, and they last for years.
Yep.
So it will tell you when the battery's weak. Go change this sensor because you name all the sensors as you set the system up. Wired wireless outdoor pan tilt IP security camera. This is a heck of a device. I like this a lot. Inside its own weatherproof shell here, 226. Ring has been a great little product. It is essentially a video doorbell that when someone presses that button, it pops up on your device to show you who's there, and you can have a two-way conversation with them. You don't have to be home. So, and it is also expandable. You can expand, have extra ringers around the house, and I believe they're working on, if they haven't have it yet, integration with home automation. This was the Netgear Arlo is the one I was talking about, where they have the battery-powered cameras that sit around the house. Now, keep in mind when you have battery power, this is not meant for full-time, constant recording. This is motion capture. It's going to go on when it detects motion. It is programmable, however, to say, well, don't bother with motion capture during the day because it's, people are home or whatever. So it is motion activated, and that's how they get the batteries to last so long.
Mhm.
And this was one we had found this for you before, Amnon. This is your Night Owl 4 gig surveillance camera pen, which you can stick in your pocket and record conversations.
Or record your pocket.
That's it. I have many videos of the inside of my pocket. It's a great place to be. This is a deal. Night Owl is actually as respectable as you can get, brand in this whole camera market. But it's just a pretty decent setup for Night Owl for $279.
Mm-hmm.
4 cameras, 8-channel. Oh, it says 4-channel. I thought it was 8-channel. But I'm going to buy one of these. I'm not sure which one yet. Night Owl decoy. So look, if you go through this whole thing, say I really want to have a video surveillance system, it's too expensive, too complicated, but you like to have people see cameras, you can buy what look like real, not this cheap looking stuff. These look like real cameras. And some of them even have LEDs built into them. This is cheap. If you want to put a couple of these up around your property, stick them on the outside of your house, people will think you have a surveillance system and very likely avoid you. And you can also buy a couple of lawn signs that say this site under 24-hour video surveillance. So there are cheap alternatives. It doesn't give you much except a visual deterrent.
Mm-hmm.
That is at Office Depot, Office Max, and finally at Newegg. Looked at some technology deals. 240 gig SanDisk Ultra 2 SSD for $77, normally $95. Mushkin Enhanced Reactor 1 terabyte SATA drive for $239.99, save 20%, normally $299. Western Digital Blue desktop hard drive for $204. This is designed for. It's got an SSD built in, but it is specifically designed for video surveillance systems. That's why it's so expensive.
Yeah, so it's not that fast.
Not that fast, but it is very
Right.
reliable, 6 terabytes. Good for recording in a DVR. That's normally $289 for $204. 500-watt bronze active power supply from Corsair, good brand. $49.99, $49.89, I should say, 20 something, $20 off the regular price. Oh, I'm sorry. I got mixed up before when I said the Western Digital Blue. That's like a server, a RAID hard drive. That's where I made a mistake. And this other, which is the 6 terabyte surveillance hard drive. So it's a 5407 instead of some of the higher speed ones, but designed specifically for surveillance storage at the same price, but 2 different markets designed slightly differently. And this is for you, Amnon. This is the Aston Martin ride-on sport car with remote control and MP3. So if you have a child, you stick them in there, and if they don't know how to drive, you can drive the car remotely, which I thought was pretty neat. Look at my 1-year-old. He can drive that car. Isn't that amazing?
Vroom, vroom.
That's it. That's
Yep.
it. And the parent has a couple too many cocktails there and has the kid in there, and they're driving him around the yard saying, look at me drive my kid around the yard. Watch out. And that's all at Newegg. And that's it for August 28th, Computers 2K Now specials.
Wow,
Awesome.
thank you very much.
All right, let's roll into
Oh, no.
Our-
Oh,
yeah, man, it's been like 6
shoot.
months.
I know.
You don't know. Clearly you don't know. So I'll give you some time, I guess.
All right.
So I actually stumbled upon an excellent piece of software this week. It's I used to use a service or an app called the Giazzo to take all of my screen captures because Windows doesn't have or Windows does have a snippet tool, but it's just a real pain to use. So I used to use this program called Giazzo. You'd click on it, it would give you a little crosshair. You select the region you want and would upload it to their service. But there were some features that you couldn't take advantage of unless you paid for Pro. I found this piece of software this week called ShareX, ShareX, capital X. The website is getsharex.com. Totally open source. And what this allows you to do is it allows you to do everything and anything screen capture wise. You can capture images, capture GIFs, capture videos. You can upload your files to any number of services. Imager, you can have it auto upload to Flickr, Google Photos. Slimage, you can put in a custom one. I'm using this, and our friend Sean is using it. Sean is uploading his to a private FTP server. So if you take a lot of screen captures on your computer, if you're constantly screen capturing stuff, this is a good alternative. And the cool thing is by default, it overwrites the control print screen button. So now if you press control print screen on your keyboard, it brings up the ShareX menu. Because for a lot of people, control print screen is especially if you have more than one monitor, tends to be pretty useless. There's no need to capture all 3 or 4 monitors on your computer. So it's a cool service, or a cool program, I should say. It's not a service. You can, a lot of customization, a lot of different things you can do. You can have it automatically save the images to the disk as well. You don't even have to use it as an upload service. You could just have it so it saves images to the disk and use it like print screen. So a lot of cool stuff over there. It's getsharex.com. It's open source. It's free. And if you like it, there's a donate button on the left-hand side of the app once you get into it. So ShareX, you can check it out.
And my pick
Spence?
today was, I mentioned earlier how I had picked up the Hyper 212 EVO processor fan. And it's a 120 millimeter fan with, it's actually got a 4-conductor connector. So it does full feedback to the system, full control by the system board and onboard software. It is pretty big, so check it out, the type of case you have to make sure you have enough height to fit this thing in there. But it is a hell of a fan. And on Amazon, $28.72 with free shipping. And I'll put
it doesn't make any noise. That's a very, very quiet.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, that's why I want to go with a new case so I can put in these ultra quiet, high volume, 120 millimeter.
Yeah, and it's interesting because that fan is not advertised as some like crazy low decibel, high speed fan. It's just a regular computer fan that it's the highest rated fan on Amazon.
It's so good because it doesn't. Smaller fans have to spin faster, and the faster they go, the more noise they make. This has to, because it's got so many blades and it's larger. It can spin at a lower speed and move just as much air, which is nice. And it's a universal fit too. It'll work with Um, oh gosh, all the AMD FM2, FM1, AMD 3 Plus, LGA 1366, 1155, 1151, 1150. It's got a universal fit kit in there. So it
Yeah,
works with
I built
most.
two Intels and AMD all with this fan, the Hyper 12, and it's fantastic. And the price when I bought it, it was like $30 or
Yeah.
$35, and it was a great deal then. And now it's under
A little cheaper.
under 20.
Yeah, they've
It's
come
the
out with
best-selling CPU fan on Amazon.
some of these amazing. You get up into 8 heat pipes. Some of these crazy things that they have now. These for super overclockers.
Yeah.
Four I think is perfectly adequate for what I'm doing. If I don't know if I'll ever overclock this processor because I don't have to, but pretty good.
Yes, definitely.
My video card is running hotter than my processor right now. So
Yeah, I have the same issue.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say issue. I have the same scenario. Yeah, it keeps it very, very cool. It's a big fan though. I'll tell you that. It will go almost to the side of your case if you don't have a modern case.
Yep.
So just make sure you do the measurements for that. It's 6.3 inches.
Yeah, 6.3. They do make a smaller two heat pipe version of it. It's a little bit lower, but
The 2T.
yeah, it's not probably not even worth looking at. And they also make one that is a vertical fan, depending on the
Your case.
your configuration. Yeah.
Yeah, for a server, if you have a server case or something like that, they do have
Yeah.
ones that should fit. But no, again, I give this a high recommendation on this fan. You can't beat it for the price. And I've done liquid cooling. I had a Corsair H60 liquid cool kit in my last computer, and I just wasn't happy with the performance. And I got this fan for a fraction of the price compared to an H60, and yeah, it's great. So it's really, really nice. It's kind of a pain to mount though. I don't know if you've set yours up yet, but it's you need almost 3 hands to set it up because you have to hold the bracket in place and feed the screw from the bottom and hold down.
Oh yeah, you've got to do it with the board out of the case, obviously.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
It's just
So,
yeah, it's not like some of the old ones that had the captive latches built into the socket itself. It's not that way. No.
All right, Amnon, you're up.
I've got nothing.
Oh, Amnon, why don't you talk about your water-cooled environment where you dump the PC right into your pond out front? That's the best way to cool the PC off.
No, I really,
Permanently.
I'm not kidding. I don't have anything. I don't have anything I can think of. This week was full with getting rid of trash and car repairs.
Huh.
So I didn't have time to play.
I have one, just a question. What is the software that you use for your video surveillance system? The one that you can just click on the actual active screen and then roll it back an hour. What's that called?
Visec.
Visec. Yeah, that's good stuff.
VISEC. Yeah, but it's very expensive.
It's expensive, but it is, if you want to get serious about this, more of a commercial environment. It's actually
it's
very
not a
well
matter
done.
of
It's-
going back an hour. It's a way that you can grab the pointer and move all the way till midnight and back and see if something changes. You don't have to go slowly.
And you can do it at the same time the other screens remain on the screen.
Oh
You don't
yeah, I
have to
mean it
grill
keeps on working. It keeps on
keeps on
recording.
going. It's very nice for a lot of camera. How many cameras does it support?
It depends. I mean, the one I have, which he gave me about 12 years ago, 13 years ago, is maybe not that much. It supports up to 64 cameras. I've got 12 on.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Recommended
It's
by the
called-
NSA.
It's called Visec, VISEC. Visec. I don't know how the new one is. I mean, the people are not the same people, and I cannot get the upgrade. And as a matter of fact, even if this system breaks down, if the machine breaks down, I can't even install it now on another machine because it always needs to call home to get authorization, and there is no more server on there. And when I called them and I told them which one, I said, "Oh, we stopped supporting this." I said, "Yeah, but I mean, it's working for me. How can I just install it on a newer, faster machine?" He said, "You can't." So I mean, it's very nice, but
Well, they're still around. They're still
they
make it.
are around. Yeah, they are around.
Yeah. Yep. But they're just as a reference for. Oh, Amon, you need to upgrade so you can get the license plate recognition module.
Oh, they had that before too. I mean, actually, this one supports it.
Oh,
But
it does.
yeah,
Oh, so
but
every
you have
time I pull in the driveway, you
no.
know
but,
it's me
but
by
you
my
see,
license plate.
but you have to have a camera that does that.
Right.
I would. How much, you said it's expensive, Anna?
Yeah, yeah. What you
I bet
see?
you there's something open source that does probably everything that does.
Oh, I looked and looked and looked. If you find one, let me know. Because I'm really, I dread
much
the
is
day that
expensive?
this machine dies. And it's still running on a single core Pentium. It's fine. I mean, it's doing its job. And I've seen some newer systems. And the problem is to go back and look. When did something happen? Oh boy, it's excruciatingly slow.
Well, didn't
But-
you have that that mini tornado go through that one time, and you could go back and look at the from the winds that came that time and damaged?
It's well, I didn't look at that, but I mean, remember when we had the earthquake?
Oh yes, yeah,
That's
you could
what it
look at
was.
stuff shaking.
Yeah, and
That was pretty
I've got
cool.
one camera
Yeah.
on the driveway that's on a real tall post, like about 20, 30 feet. And you could look at it and see when they say the whole thing kind of like shook.
Whole lot of shaking going
A
on.
lot of shaking going on. All right.
Yeah, I need to
It's
bolt at
time.
exactly 11. So
Yep. It is time. All right, guys. Anything else anybody wants to add?
Oh, yeah. Check out a new episode of Against the Norm up on the website, atnshow.com.
ATN
Check it out.
show. A Tom Nancy.
You can't. That's not how you can't say a Tom. That doesn't make any sense.
Well,
Alpha,
Yeah, I know,
just
you can't
so-
be. You
Alpha
say that
Tango
first one.
November, Alpha Tango November.
when I
Come on,
when I
correct.
when I tell people spell my name, people I tell them it's A Mary Nancy O Nancy. I
Oh,
mean,
sure,
A you
that's-
can understand. Nothing sounds like it. I mean, but you're right. You should use Alpha. All right.
There you go.
So, do we have anything else?
Nope.
All right. So let's wrap it up. So thanks everybody. Thanks Spence, Nick, Andrew. Thank you again for coming on, and the audience. And good morning to Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thanks everybody for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Update your virus scanner, and back up your hard drive. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. While you're at it, like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody. Bye, everybody.
are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, My Life, My Will with Gisela DiCarlo, The Tanya Love Show, Health Then with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Triangle Be Well with Howard Jacobson, Lunch and Learn with Rabbi Yisrael Cutler, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, Current Affairs with Amnon Nissan. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section on nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Atomos.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.